Hey guys, how's it going? Octopus here. Welcome back to Union Cross. We're going to talk about the new medals that are coming out in JP right now. Should be in Global the next following day, like it usually is on Fridays. But Lee came out as a 5 Mercy Pull, and we have a new Sykes organization member as a 5 Mercy Pull as well. So Mercy Pulls are kind of everywhere. Power creep's happening, guys. Be careful. Save your jewels. Everything I say here is just tell you how good the medals is, but be prepared for your Keyblade specifically, because 5 Mercies on good medals means better medals are coming out. Just a little heads up. But these are Mercy Pulls where the new medals might not be Mercy Pulls, or if they are, they're probably gonna cost 30,000. So do what you gotta do. Save or pull. It's all up to you guys. This is just a little bit of advice on what the medals are happening. So, let's jump into this. So we got our boy Lee here. He's coming back as a 5 Mercy Pull. A lot of people have been trying to go for this. If you do have him, you know how good he is. Copy medals always have value. They always continue on further into the game than anybody else. The only problem is that this copy medal, 20,000 strength compared to 25, compared to 30,000. Yes, copy medals can always be the next highest multiplier, but when their strength is such a big difference apart, it kind of hurts. So they screwed up when it comes to Lee. Lee having that 20,000 strength compared to 25,000, compared to 30,000 or more in the future. It hurts to say, yes, pull for the copy medals because copy medals last forever. They kind of killed that, guys. They kind of killed that with 1, old copy medals not being able to turn into Supernova Plus, maybe yet. And 2, these copy medals are coming out with the current strength when they're released. And then when the strength is increased, because that's a thing they've been doing, I guess maybe try to fix their unbalanced enemies' defense, they also left them with not enough strength to continue forward into the future. So it hurts, because even Angelic Amber, with her 25,000 base strength with chips, even that is nothing compared to that Roxas. Unless Roxas is literally a special medal that's only going to happen like 3 or 4 times on other medals, then that's a different story. But the longevity of these medals just don't seem as good as they used to when it comes to all this. So do I recommend a 5 Mercy Pull on Lee? Again, you can always copy the newest, highest multiplier. If you get traits of them and they come out good, yes, he's going to do good. Yes, he's going to be powerful. Even though he doesn't have more than 20,000 strength without extra traits, he's still going to pack a really heavy punch. It's kind of hard to say to pull for this banner. The banner specifically has 2 Kingdom Hearts 3 medals per pull. You get 1 trait medal per pull for Axel. So if you do 5 pulls, you get 5 traits at least, and you get 10 VIP coins. So there might be other avatar boards that you guys need for other traits. But yeah, Lee, great medal. I use them. Still really, really good. It's just I'm worried about that strength being outdated pretty quickly. He is a copy medal that gives you 250% guilt boost, so that's always going to be useful, increasing your medal's guilt by that much. We do have Final Fantasy record keeper Sephiroth, who has 260%, and we haven't seen anything higher than that since then, and that's been a while. So 250% still holds a really good place. So up to you guys. Just a little warning there on that whole base strength. The extra 5,000 plus 30,000 is a 10,000 difference. That's like having 10 plus 1,000 traits when you compare this medal strength to the new Roxas' strength. It's like Roxas has 10 plus 1,000 traits. It's a big, big difference. So that is Lee. Let's jump into the new boy, Saix. Saix over here. Oh God, his multiplier is beautiful. It is beautiful, but he has issues, and I'm gonna say now, if you want an early in or out, it is an out for me. I'm not pulling for him. Again, positioning matters. He's a reverse power, really good medal. Having a 5 Mercy Pull is really great, and he's got that 200% guilt increase for the month because of the Roxas booster. But besides that, what does this deal have? So let's talk about the deal first. For the deal specifically, it's a falling price deal, which means 11,300 jewels, and this medal is yours. That's a cheap price. For those pulls that you do, the 5 pulls, you get 2 Kingdom Hearts 3 medals per pull, 1 trait medal for Sykes every pull, so that's 5 pulls guaranteed of traits. You get 10 VIP coins, and that's about it. So the banner, again, not bad. 11,300 jewels, 5 traits with it. Other medals come along with it. If your RNG is good enough, you might get something else, and you get a medal that has a really good strength bonus going on. But is he really worth that 11,300 besides looking sexy as hell? Let's look into what he's got. Base strength, check mark. Looks good. 25,000. You already know that's good. Compared to Roxas 30,000, like I said, that might be a very rare thing. Like that's a new EX Plus or Supernova. You know what I mean? That could just be for like very select 5 medals in the future, and that's it. So 25,000, still really good. Not bad at all. He's got a multiplier of 56.89 if you don't meet its condition, or if you do, 61.72. He is random. He gives you quite a bit of buffs, but here's the catch. The buffs are only for 2 attacks. So pretty much what that means is that his attack and the metal after him is what gets the buff. So you can't use this as a buffer in the beginning of the Keyblade, because that's pretty much these buffs. I'll be like, yeah, use it as a buffer. So for 2 attacks, when you activate him and then you activate the other metal, the metal after that, there's no buffs applied. So what does he do? He buffs your reverse and your general and power attack by 15. So max buffs when it comes to power metals, because they do general and up reverse. Then for debuffs, he debuffs the enemy's reverse, general, and power defense by 15. So 15 up, 15 down. He's got all the buffs and debuffs you need. The metal takes care of itself. We've seen this before with metals like Alexius over here. He pretty much took care of himself for 1 attack. He gave you the reverse buff that you needed. Targets reverse defense down by 5. This is good because Keyblades that have an upright buffer don't have reverse buffs, and when a metal can take care of their own reverse buffs, it works out really good. But there's a catch to Sykes over here. So great multiplier, great strength. What else does he do before I talk about why he's not that great? His supernova is AoE actually, but it's for 2 attacks again for himself and the next metal. He raises the guilt of all metals by 250%, which is a 300% on upgrade, which what I was just talking about when it came to Lee. We haven't seen a metal higher than 260% since Sephiroth, but lo and behold, 300% is around the corner, guys, for an upgrade, but only for himself and the next metal. 300%. Even though it says guilt of all metals, it's for 2 attacks. So in PvP, this ability will activate on slot 6. So his supernova plus your pet metal, and then that 300% is gone. So it's actually pretty big to increase someone's guilt by 300%. It's an extra 50% more, or 40 if you count Sephiroth, than before. And again, it can just keep going higher and higher from there. So that's just a sign of some early power creeps happening. He is a good metal. When we go compare him to other metals that are reverse power, if we sort this by max guilt multiplier to show you guys the difference, you guys are going to see that he sits in a really good place. So he's got that multiplier of 61.72. When you look at your reverse power metals, Roxas over there is 58.79. So even his lowest one, 56.89, is really close to Roxas. So he's pretty much lowest multiplier, 2nd place, highest multiplier, 1st place when it comes to reverse power. So he is the best of the best when it comes to all the stats. But here's the catch. The catch is ability. So when you activate him, he costs 4 gauges, but what happens is it consumes all your gauges. So every gauge that you have, so let's say that you got to him and you had 12 gauges, 20 gauges, he will take all of that away and put it down to 0. And he doesn't matter if the skill says attack boost max SP gauge 0, doesn't matter if it says that, it's still going to take away all the gauges. And the more gauges you consume, the higher your multiplier. So if you don't have enough gauges, 56.89. If you do, 61.72. So you cannot put this metal at the beginning of a Keyblade setup because it won't help you. Let me show you guys a Keyblade setup real quick. Something like the Moogle of Glory. Let's say you do buffer, your upright magic metal, and then you activate Sykes here. Your gauges are put down to 0. So you better have Maleficent over here. You better have a Pete on your Keyblade with their supernovas restoring gauges, because if you don't, you're not going to have any gauges to recover everything else. Also, if you put Sykes on the pet slot, let's say in Coliseum, let's say anything that doesn't have a friend metal, then what you run into is that when your Keyblade goes to the next round, if you don't have an extra attack Kairi or Shion, you're only going to restore 10 gauges. Again, that's very, very risky. For the amount of risk this metal has, I don't say it's worth all the damage. It's going to work in some situations where you're going to kill an enemy in 1 turn with this. Great. If you have to go multiple turns and your metals don't cost that much, great. Because you do have XP gauge 1, 2, 0. So you could get around it, but there's just too much to it. It takes the pet slot. It has to be the pet slot. If it's anything else, you're just losing all those gauges, and you better have a way to restore it. And that just really messes up your Keyblade setup. I never like metals that have to be somewhere specifically if it's besides the 5th or 6th slot. But having that, I have to be 5th or 6th slot, and I have to have a way to restore gauges, is just too much of a headache, and it's just not worth it in my opinion. Better metals will come out. He's just going to be a headache and eventually toss it aside because you can't use them in every situation. There will be some situations you can, and then some situations you can't. And also, if you're using gauges before him, I think you need 10 plus gauges consumed in order for him to do enough damage. So even if you do restore 10 gauges and then all your medals cost 2 and you only have 2 gauges left, he won't get that higher multiplier. The 56.89 is still a really good multiplier, but you won't get that 61.72, so you're always on that 56.89, which you might as well use the Dual World Roxas. I know the 25,000 strength isn't there on Dual World Roxas, but it's still something to consider when looking at it. So it is one of those things, guys. He's cost 4 gauges, so those 4 gauges you have to have 4 gauges and able to use them on turn 2, 3, or 4. So keep that in mind. So that's pretty much it, guys. It's up to you. These 2 banners, I could say easily just skip. Lee, I know he's a good copy medal, but that 20,000 base strength kind of hurts me and makes me worry about this future, especially when every medal after him is coming out with 25,000. And then Sykes, too situational, guys. Too much for a situational medal. I know you can work around, like I said before, but too much. Let me know what you think about these medals down below. Maybe I just didn't read it properly. Maybe you guys need to tell me more. I know I skipped the whole he increases 170% guilt, but that doesn't matter when other medals do more than that. So let me know what you think of Sykes. Are you going for it? Are you skipping it? I'm really curious. I think it's a skip, but maybe, again, I read it wrong. Who knows? If you guys did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit the like button. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.